in the hood with it. Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know we get it in a menudo style and direct fashion. Before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Put your notification bell on also. That way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support that I'm getting, man. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. I'm very humbled. Thank you. So first and foremost, right? We done heard it all, seen it all, but nothing to make us think twice. You try to real hard, but you'll know Marvelous ain't nothing nice. Marvelous Daniela Masterson. And the beat goes on, right? Mr. Masturbates or Mrs. Daniela has decided that if for no other reason to take it up a notch. Another step, another rung in the ladder of bullshit, right? So now, yesterday, I did a video, man, answering the questions of a loyal subscriber about the hole and where Daniel Masterson was going to have to do most of his time if he wanted to live, basically. But now it seems like this vato is playing chess and not checkers, and he's making different moves. See, he's making power moves wearing Gucci shower shoes. He has decided to step it up a notch. His lawyer, his advisor, whoever is giving him the game is not only bullshitting him, but with the shenanigans in the bullshit. So now they're taking it up a different notch and have decided to do something quite different, right? Something that we hear a lot of people done. Ask Kodak Black, he'll tell you, right? They have petitioned for a presidential pardon. Orale Biden, right? These guys are going for the gusto. They're trying anything they can to save this man's life. Where was your antennas at though when them women was crying out for help? One never knows, does one, right? One thing I can say is this. Will this guy, is he eligible for a presidential pardon? What will that do to the campaign? What would that make this vato look like if he gives this guy a presidential pardon and lets him walk free because he's scared? Where was my presidential pardon when I was fucking sitting there in the oil and wondering what the hell was going to go on with me, right? Nah. See, the basic average person doesn't get a presidential pardon. There's a lot that has to get looked into. There has to be a lot of case factors and reasoning for that. I myself have never seen anyone get a presidential pardon. I'm going to tell you a story about seeing someone get snatched up on some presidential bullshit, but I ain't never seen that happen. I don't think there's going to be a pardon. You can petition on behalf of your client for a pardon, most definitely. Who wouldn't? If you got the money to pay a good lawyer, he's supposed to be hitting every single aspect of the game he can. All the way from playing stupid, all the way from I'm going to unalive myself, right? All the way from the EOP building, from the medical transfer center to growing fucking big old titties bigger than Pamela Anderson's. They've tried it all, right? So now it's come all the way down to, can we get a presidential pardon, please? Right? From a guy who can't even spell his own name. So I don't know if he knows how to spell Masterson. He's going to put, yeah, I believe Danny Masterson. I like people sitting on my lap, right? So I don't know what's going to happen with this guy. But he's definitely put it out there that this is the word on the curb, that he is now asking for a presidential pardon for clemency. Basically, let's clean the slate. Let's start all over again. Let's go from that 70s show to that 70s hole to back on the streets again. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see a pardon in his future. I don't see a pardon, a presidential pardon, a pardon me. Can you pass the Grey Poupon? The only pardon I see is this big old silly saying, hey, pardon me. Can you pass me the KY jelly? That's about it. You know, for the people that are throwing these rumors and this hearsay out there without paperwork or fabricated paperwork, I call bullshit. I call cagada. I smell cow pie, because I'm going to tell you guys right now straight up, I don't see it in his future, but anything is possible in the world of Masterson, right? Anything is possible. Kodak Black got pardoned. Several other people get pardons. Why wouldn't this guy get one? This guy is a well-known household name by now, right? Everybody knows his business. I'm going to go ahead and push what I push, right? And I'm going to tell you right now exactly what happens when someone is getting a second look, a look at a presidential pardon. Damn, I got a homeboy right now that's sitting down for a long ass time that just wishes the president would look his way. You notice no one really gets that look. Only these stars or these Hollywood executives or people like that get a look. If Epstein didn't get a look, you think this motherfucker Masterson's going to get a look? I don't know. I can't call it like an alcoholic, but one thing I can say for sure is I don't see that in his future. But they have petitioned for one. That's a fact. I looked into it. I seen it with my own 4 eyes, right? I said, oh shit, these motherfuckers is playing chess, eh? Right? Well, everyone is playing Connect 4. These vatos are playing Connect the Dots. And they're doing it righteously. Like I said, when you have all the money in the world to throw at a lawyer, man, he's a pit bull. He's going to do what he has to do. And it's gotten to that point. Now, it's not that easy. Anyone can say anything about anything and try to make shit happen. But I don't see this one coming because based upon who the president is, he's going to look at this case like, oh, hell no, you can't touch that. No, I won't touch that. He's not even dumb enough to do that one, right? So like I said, the only pardon he's going to get is pardon me. Can I pass you the summer sausage? That's all he's going to get. Now, let me tell you a story about presidential things. So I was sitting in a shoe program, right? Doing my time. And for those of you that don't know what a shoe is, man, I caught a case, I actually did catch a case. I caught a case in prison for a prison stabbing, right? And then I elevated the game, man. I went from administrative segregation doing my whole time, which was about 6 months in the hole, 180 days, to a shoe program, right? So there's steps to this bullshit, right? So I was going to have to go through this shoe program, do my shoe term, which was about 18 months before I was going to be kicked back out into the prison yard, which was cool. I had already conformed to it. It was what it was. I wasn't going nowhere. But the shoe was a lot better than administrative segregation. So it was just closer to freedom I was getting. Now, don't get it twisted. The shoe sucks, right? Depending upon what shoe you go to, what state. Every state has an administrative segregation as well as a shoe program. They might label it different, give it different titles, but it's all the same bullshit, right? It's doing time. To me, it's never mattered where you do time, in what cell, what dorm, what facility. Doing time is doing time. You're away from your family. You're away from the streets. You're with the shenanigans and the bullshit. And that's just it, period. Those that understand, know what I'm talking about, understand and know what I'm talking about. So anyways, we're sitting there on this fucking tier and it was about 8 cells on top, 8 cells on bottom. These were the people you were going to do your time with for the next 18 months, right? You ain't going fucking nowhere. So everybody pretty much got along. There wasn't too much bumping baking soda breath on the door, too much woofing, because no one's going anywhere. Now, there were a few J-Cats that used to scream and yell and do their thing, but we were used to these guys already. We already knew what time it was. If them doors cracked, after we handled our gang-related business, we would go ahead and touch them. And at some point in time, it crossed over to, hey, we ain't even tripping on the fellow gang member. Let's get that motherfucker one time for his mind, right? So it never happened, man. Very rarely would you ever get a chance to ever meet up with someone. I remember one homeboy did meet up with some Southsiders in the law library, and the homeboy pulled out the pencil and got busy, man. Facts, it really did happen, right? So anyways, trip out. There was a guy down the tier that all this dude did all day long. He was a big white dude, big old beard, looked like mustard and ham hock and all kinds of shit in his beard. He never took a shower, right? He would just work out every day. When they would bring you out of your cell for shower time or bring you out of your cell for law library or whatever it was, because there was a lot of people that were in there doing life, so they were fighting their cases. People would go to court. They'd take you to the little yard so you could play a little handball or whatever by yourself, right? And I used the yard time to facilitate communication with other people that were in different pods because there was a drain and you could talk through it. And that's how we facilitated communication to other pods, just to see who was there, just to do something for some type of entertainment. So anyways, this guy, all he did was work out constantly, right? So it got to the point where it smelled like onion. It smelled like an onion field. It started to stink on the tier because this guy constantly refused his showers. Now, there was a lot of people that refused the showers because the showers were moldy, oldie, dirty. You know, they weren't beautiful cover girls. So a lot of people were like, nah, I'm not going to second that emotion. I'm not going to go to that shower. And they would just bird bath, which is cool. That's totally up to you. As long as you fucking clean your asshole right, everything's good. Period, right? But this guy wasn't doing that. All this guy did was squats with his big ass mattress on his back. Every time you walked by, you had to hold your breath. Even the cops that were escorting you were like, God damn, this shit stinks, right? So it started to get bad where I believe people were riding kites. They were telling the officer, can you do something about this guy? Can you spray him down with a hose? Can you throw some talcum powder on his ass? Anything, please. Bring some Febreze in this motherfucker and just keep it on spray 24/7 because this guy right here stunk up the whole pod. And it's truth. When someone really ain't taking showers, man, and they're just working out, sweating all day, something's wrong with this guy, man. I think he had 2 screws loose, not just one, but 2. He had one coming out of his asshole and the other one coming out of his boca, right? He was stinking. So we used to get at him on the tier. Hey, brother, man, is there any way possible you could put some water on it? Can we get a courtesy flush on you? He would never conversate with us. He would never talk back. He was quiet, just working out, right? So one day we're all popping popcorn, and I call it popcorn, right? We're popping on the tier. We're chopping it up, having great conversation, man, trying to pass the time. Shit, we were rerunning fucking that 70s shows episodes, right? We were just talking about shit that we had on the streets. You know, some people are fabricating, putting tapatio on it, lying a little bit. But it was what it was, man. As long as it took our mind off the bullshit we were going through at that particular time, it was all good. That's prison for you. Keep your mind out of what you're doing, man. Keep your mind not necessarily on the streets, but away from what's in front of you, man. So you talk about movies. Hey, did you see this movie? Who sings this song? Shit like that. Civil conversation between gang members. It's funny, man. You gangbang your whole life. Hate people. I had a dream last night about someone getting shot. It was crazy, right? But you do all this type of stuff just to sit on a tier with enemies and talk about that 70s show. How does that work out for you, right? It's how it worked out for me, right? So that's the reality of situations that people don't tell you behind the scenes. The same people you're trying to kill, you're trying to murk on site, that if these doors crack, you guys are going to target each other and get off, book each other, whatever, are the same individuals and the only individuals you could have conversation with. Ain't that some shit? It's wild, right? When you think about it. But it's true. So anyways, back to fucking Stinky Guy. So he's over there working out and smelling like shit, right? And there's nothing we could do about it. And it's getting bad. So we're all on the tier like, fuck, bro, somebody needs a shower around here. We're shooting subliminals, right? And then this brother, man, who's just a straight up character, comes out there. He said, hey, white dude, brother, take a shower, please, right? All of a sudden, we hear something, right? What? It's a different voice on the tier. And he says, I ain't got to do a damn thing. I'm American, right? Okay, you're American, Mr. American. So anyways, we get to fucking conversating again, and we start to debate presidential shit coming on. Now, this was when George Bush was the president. I think it was for the second time or the first. I can't call it right. But this is when he was doing his presidential bullshit, right? It was after 9/11, so it was around that time. Anyways, we're chopping it up, conversating, debating for reals, right? Politicking on the politics. And this guy all of a sudden starts making derogatory statements about George Bush out the blue, right? I guess we hit his motherfucking heartstrings because he was feeling some type of way. So he started to scream all these derogatory things about our president of the United States, right? You don't do that. I didn't know this up until this point, but I guess you can't do that. Somebody heard him. One of these correction officers heard him and reported back to the powers that may be. So it's a couple nights later, man, and all of a sudden, I woke up out of a dead sleep, and it was like a Sasquatch walked by, right? Because my cell, his cell was over here, my cell was over there, and I just smelled a horrific odor. Right? It smelled like rotted pork and Grey Poupon, right? Now, what the fuck was that? Out of a dead sleep, this shit woke me up. I was having a good old dream too. I had a torta sideways, right? And all of a sudden I woke up like, damn, she stinks like that. And this vault was being escorted by men in black. Real talk, by guys in suits. What happened, right? He's gone out of the pod. They took his mattress. His cell is empty. All you hear, all you smell in there is a faint aroma of onions and liver, right? Like, what the fuck happened? Because this guy disrespected the president, man, some feds came and snatched him up and charged him. I talked to an officer. He was a cool-ass sergeant. He used to slide through, pass cosmetics for us. Just a cool dude, right? I was like, hey, what happened, bro? What happened to the fucking dude? He said, hey, man, that fool went, hey, he J-catted on us. He started disrespecting the president. Someone reported him. The feds came and swooped him up for threats. He was making threats. Yes, true story. They did charge him with making threats against the president. So you can get caught up. Doesn't matter where you're at. That's why I keep quiet. Fuck that. Even if Avalto's doing this, also on the podium, I don't speak on it too much because I ain't trying to get snatched up in the feds. What are you in here for, eh? Because I said the president's slow way, right? That's just how it is. So anyways, that's true story. That shit happened. Now back to fucking Mr. Masturbates. Do you truly, honestly believe that he's eligible for a presidential pardon? I think there's some type of criteria, or maybe I'm wrong. The president has the power to do whatever the hell he feels like doing that day, right? If he wants to push a button and blow us all up, he can do all that. I don't think that will ever happen. Hopefully not, right? But he also can push the button on this guy's release. But I don't know if an R on your jacket, if rape qualifies for that. How can you justify that to the people and get voted back in? See, you have to think about yourself all the time, first and foremost. And if he lets this guy out, there's going to be big backlash and an outpour of outcry from everybody, especially women in the community that feel threatened by his presence. Now, there's a lot of people lately that have been saying Masterson is innocent. These women, These cases were from 25 years ago. Chale, homie. Yes, but he's been doing it for 25 years steady, homes. If you really look into his paperwork, like I have, this Vato was not innocent of nada. He'd been doing this shit for 25 years plus. He'd been doing shit, right? Yes, he got convicted on some old ass cases, but hey, bro, there's no statute of limitations on bullshit, right? And he got caught up. Just chalk it up, man. The Vato got an R in his jacket and he's going to get boned by somebody on the tier. Take it how I sees it, and that's it. Now, as far as him getting a presidential pardon, hey, these motherfuckers are scandalous. They'll try anything, right? Where were my antennas when I should have been doing this? I would have liked to got the presidential pardon on some gang-related shit. But I don't think I would have had action because I don't got money like that. See, my face ain't out there like that. Now I can go in there like, hey, Mr. President, can you pardon me? I'm a YouTuber, right? That shit still won't work. Like I said, there is no pardon in this guy's presence or in his future. He ain't going to have nothing coming. For those people that put it out there, I looked into it. Yes, they did petition for a presidential pardon, but I think all lawyers, when they have clients that have money, do it on behalf of their fucking clients, telling them, hey, this is a long shot, knowing damn well they ain't got no shot at all. Period. Who would let a rapo back out? You got to be a liar, a fat mouth, and a baboso to do some shit like that. It just ain't going to happen. Now, Kodak Black surprised me. But again, man, Trump did his thing. You know what I'm saying? For those of you that says he doesn't like brothers, we're not going to get political here. I'm just saying. He let that vato out. I believe if you do the time, do the crime, you do the time. That's just my firm belief. I know because I did it. Shit, sometimes I did time for shit, crimes I didn't even commit. But I sat down like a real one and just took my time. It was what it was, a little slap on the wrist, man. And I just had to reminisce, man. And that's what I did while in prison. So, as far as this guy getting a presidential pardon, we've heard it all now. Everything from him growing fucking tits with hair on him, to fucking, playing the role that he's going to unalive himself, to doing the and playing the dumb role and going to a mental facility. From what I'm hearing right exactly now at this point, and it's like he has like 3 days left to convince whoever he's got to convince the doctor that he's unsafe and that fucking something's wrong with him, right? He's an actor, so he can play the role. But he's not actually in administrative segregation the whole quite yet. I think that's his next move. But he is in a medical facility, meaning I got a homeboy that's in a medical facility right now. I chopped it up with the homeboy yesterday just to make sure that I knew what the fuck I was talking about and do my homework before I put bullshit out there. In this medical facility, it's basically like it's the medical ward, right? They got several people in there. They got AIDS patients, people that have cancer, people that have cirrhosis of the liver. In prison, tuberculosis, cirrhosis, things like that. They run rampant in there, right? There's a lot of people that have that. So they sit down there, and there are some cells and of course beds. And these are for the people that really need it. Okay, that's where he's been moved because he's on not potty watch, but soon he's going to be on potty watch. They're going to be like, damn, we got to put this guy on potty watch. We got to tape his calzones around him because he just has chorro all the time. I don't know why. It seems like every cell we put him in with these big guys, shit just keeps falling out his ass. So he might have to be on potty watch for the rest of his life. But right now he's on suicide watch. So he's sitting in there and he has 3 days left. 72 hours left of safety before they're going to have to make their next move and place him where they're going to place him. Again, man, just knowing the history of what it is, man, they're not going to keep him in that medical facility again and over and over and over again because he doesn't have a medical condition to deem worthy of that. What they're going to do is put him in a single cell in the EOP building or administrative segregation, depending upon the point system and where they have room. Don't get it twisted. They just might slide him to a building. They might tell him, hey, we're taking you over here to safety and just throw his ass on the tier. And then it is what it is. Pardon me. Can you pass some gray poop on, right? And then it's all over. But I highly doubt that. Man. But again, prison is an animal. You never know where you're going to go or what happens to you, man. You kind of just go with the flow. So we're going to see how it flows and trickles down his leg. But as far as this new scheme and plot and plan of a presidential pardon, and you think he's eligible, even a guy got at me, do you think that'll work? Oh, of course it'll work. It'll work for the people that got that coming, but this vato ain't got that coming. The only thing coming is this selling. That's it. And maybe him if he enjoys it. I'm telling you right now, the president, when it starts getting to that, man, it starts to become a lot of hearsay. But I am here to tell you 1,000,000% that I looked into it, and they did petition for one. His lawyer's a slick back cat. A lawyer named Slickback. A lawyer named Slickback. Right? He did that. his PI, like TI, but it's not going to work, Holmes. I call flag on the play. Man, a challenge flag. I challenge you to do some bullshit like that. Biden, right? He won't. No one's going to do that and put their fucking neck on the line for some fucking rapist, period. It just ain't going to happen. So anyways, if you hear about it on other channels, hey, they're going to presidentially pardon this guy, whatever, if that's even a word, presidentially, I just made it up. It ain't going to happen, man. I don't see it happening, but hey, in the world we live in, I didn't think kids would go to school and call themselves cats, right? I didn't think people would be identifying as aliens from Miami. I don't know anymore. See, I used to be able to give you the knowledge you couldn't get in college, man. The real rundown on some serio shit, no added preservatives, straight up like, hey, bro, this is the way it is in prison. But nowadays, it's all fucked up. So I can't call it like an alcoholic. One thing I can tell you that's for sure is I don't think this guy's going to get pardoned. But if he does, then I guess fucking I put my whole toenail in my mouth and I was wrong, right? But I don't see it happening because he's undeserving. First of all, anyone with the R in their jacket should be left on an island that's in flames, right? Shouldn't be given chances or opportunities to get back into the community to do these crimes again. Most of these people that do that, they didn't just stumble and fall into a fucking pile of cow shit. It's not an accident. They've been sniffing shit their whole life, right? It's a disease, not just something you do. And I'm not going to conform as a fucking productive member of society, a taxpayer in our community, to having people like that be released just because they're more famous than me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there will be petitions. You want a petition for a pardon? How about we petition to keep your ass in there, bitch, right? And that's just it. Anyways, with that being said, I thought I'd drop you some jewels of the now today, some knowledge that you couldn't get in college. And people are saying, oh, he's going to get pardoned. It's going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Fuck no. Hey, no way. But if it does, right, then I guess the world is really coming to an end. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. I got a double trouble banger coming later on today. Again, man, thank you for all the support I'm getting right here on the Collective Clips. We're keeping up with this Danny Masturbate saga. We got to. Why not? Everyone else says, so the gun's going to give it to you raw diggity, as direct and possible as I can. It's done went too far now. Like I said, man, we're not going to stop following what this guy is doing in prison until he gets clapped on the yard or clapped in the cell. Either way, I'm going to bring you guys the latest, greatest breaking news when it comes to Danny Masterson. So now the new one is they're trying to go for a presidential pardon. Well, pardon me. Can you get the fuck out of my way so I can just do my time like a real one? And that's what it is. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people, man. Ain't this shit funny? Damn. Hey, who would have known that in 2024 we'd be talking about some guy from that 70s show that's a weirdo? Go figure. Bye-bye.